Hello again and welcome to French ABCD. In this series, French from Scratch for Beginners, we're going to look at nouns. In French, it's called le nom. Today we will do lesson 2A, the first of 4 parts on French nouns. We will focus on French nouns in general, the gender of each noun. There will be a lesson dedicated on tips on how to remember the gender, whether it is masculine or feminine. And we're also going to look at the formation of feminine and plural of French nouns. Of course, we will also compare them with English nouns. So let's go. The reference material on French nouns, you can find them on page 16 to 46 of this manual here. I've already talked about it in the first lesson. And of course, it's right here. This is a reference in the table of content. So let's start. Le nom in French. In English, it's called nouns. Now, I'm going to give you the definition of le nom here, and I'm going to read it for those of you who are a little bit advanced in their learning. So, le nom est un mot qui désigne une personne, un animal ou une chose. So, une personne, I have put an arrow here for the English version, a person. An animal is un animal. A thing is une chose. So, just to recap, it is a word that designates a person, an animal, or a thing. For example, the doctor is late. Le docteur est en retard. Okay, here is your noun. Le chat a faim. The cat is hungry. Here is your animal, and that one was the person. La mère, the thing. La mère est houleuse. I think in English the best translation I could come up with is the sea is rough. Now let's look quickly at the English version. What is a noun? I took that right from Webster, Merriam-Webster dictionary. So a noun is a word that refers to a thing. Okay, we've got our thing here, a person. We've got our person here, an animal. Here is your animal. So let's do it again. A noun is a word that refers to a thing, a person, an animal, a place, a quality, an idea, or an action. Okay, so it looks like the definition in English and in French are similar. Now let's look at common nouns. In French, it's nom commun. So le nom commun désigne toutes les personnes, tous les animaux et toutes les choses. A common noun refers to a person, a place, or a thing. Garçons et filles, boys and girls, canards et bœufs, ducks and cows, autobus et école, so school, bus and school, are what is called nom commun, common nouns. Opposite to common nouns, we've got nom propre. In English, it's proper nouns. So you can say that nouns can be seen in 2 different ways, or split up into different ways. We've got common nouns, names that are common to everything, and proper nouns. So proper nouns, nom propre, is le nom particulier qui appartient à une personne, un animal ou une chose. The key word here is appartient, belong, belongings. It belongs to somebody. So Susan, for example, is a name of a person. Milou, it's a name of a dog. I don't know if you remember Les Aventures de Tintin. If you grew up in a francophone country, that was a fairly common staple among kids. I think in English they are called Tintin. Istanbul is a name of a city. Now, keep in mind that right now they are at the beginning of a sentence, therefore any word would be capitalized. No. Proper nouns is always capitalized. So even if I put it in the middle or at the end, it will remain capitalized. So ma ville préférée est Istanbul. My favorite city is Istanbul. So even if it is found, the last word in the sentence it is still capitalized. Okay? So in English, a proper noun is the name of a particular place, person, or thing. Again, there is the idea of belonging. Bruno is a name of a person. It belongs to a person. Vancouver is the name of a city. It belongs to a city. And of course, the famous COVID. Always begins with a capital letter. This is what you need to remember. That's how you distinguish between a common noun and a proper noun. Les noms propres commencent toujours par une lettre majuscule. Ah, the dreaded gender in French, the nightmare. Well, here we go. Let's start. In French, it's called le genre. In English, it's a gender. So we've got two genres in French, the masculine and the feminine. Okay? They apply to human beings, to animals, and to things. Now, we say a name or a noun is in the masculine form when it is preceded by le ou un. We're going to explain the difference between le ou un later on. That will be part of the lesson on articles. For example, le coiffeur, the hairdresser, or the barber, depend. Un train is a train. Okay, so you will see here that coiffeur is a masculine noun, therefore it takes le. Train is a masculine noun, it takes un. It could also be le, and coiffeur could also be un. We will explain that later. Now, we've looked at masculine, let's look at the feminine. A name, a noun, a word is in feminine when it is preceded, meaning le ou la is placed before it. So, coiffeuse, c'est la, because coiffeuse is feminine. So it could be une coiffeuse ou la coiffeuse. Next, pomme. Pomme is an apple. It is therefore une pomme. It could also be la pomme, but for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to say it's une pomme because it is feminine. What about gender in English? English does not have a system of grammatical gender in the same way the French does. Although one can say it does have a natural gender. We know a girl, for example, that would be feminine. A boy would be masculine. And if we're going to use a pronoun, then we're going to say for the girl, she or her. And of course, for a boy, it will be him or he. And that's how we concluded that there is a natural gender system in English. I'm going to refer you to page 20 for some cautionary words between French and English gender. It is a good idea to go through them and have a look. What about names that are both masculine and feminine? It's almost like the French like to throw in a curveball every now and then, and this is one of them. So there are names in French that are masculine and feminine, but if it is masculine, it means one thing. If it is feminine, it has an entirely different meaning. So let's look at this example. Couple. Now, couple is a noun that exists in both its masculine version and its feminine format. So masculine, un couple, it means two people who are united in love. Une couple, on the other hand, means two of the same. Similarly, if I take livre, un livre, it means a book. Here it is, le livre invisible. Here is the book. La livre, on the other hand, it means a unit of measurement. Une livre, when you buy apples, you buy bananas, it's going to be measured, especially in North America, in livre, la livre. So here is your example. Fruits et légumes vendus à la livre. So it's fruits and vegetables are sold by the pound. Let's give it a try now, okay? Page 28 of the manual lists a series of words without their corresponding gender. Use a dictionary to find the noun, whether it is masculine or feminine, especially for English-speaking people where you do not have the gender. This is a very important exercise. This is an aspect of French that you cannot avoid. It's going to be le ou la, un ou une. So here is a screenshot of the exercise that I would like you to do. The first one is appartement. The first word is appartement. I looked up in my dictionary, and this is what I got. Appartement. Here you go. You see here it says no, and then it says masculine. It means it's a noun, and that noun is in masculine. So we know the masculine would be either le or un. So if it is un appartement, it is un appartement. How about if it is le? You remember what we talked about? We have one vowel, and we have also another vowel. When two vowels are in succession, you got to drop the first one. So it will, and you replace it with an apostrophe. If you're not sure about that, go back to lesson 1B and the role of the apostrophe in French and the process of elision, which means you drop the first vowel and you replace it with an apostrophe. So this is the end of the first part. Coming up in the next episode, we'll look at lesson 2B. Now, how do you remember if a noun is masculine or feminine? This is very important. So I'll provide you with a few tips. We will look at when it is masculine, when it is feminine, and hopefully you can use that as a benchmark in your learning of French. Thank you and see you soon.